And we're back. And Haley, before we get into the silly tool that I want to talk about, which it is silly.
It's useful, but...
It is useful, but it is silly. That's coming. Before we get to that, I want to clarify something that I said in the last segment. We were talking with Dean Veltman about decks, and I had said boldly, proclaiming it from the rooftops, that fall is a great time to do decks.
Yes.
And I think I clarified what I exactly meant, but I'm not sure I did as good a job as I want to. So I want to clarify. Fall is a great time to do a deck as long as it's dry.
Yes.
And we are really hitting that point in the year where it's getting to be a little bit iffy. And
it's touch and go.
Right. If you're going to do a deck, if you're thinking about that, you definitely want to go the route of using our on-floor machine. We talked about it in the last segment. All you need is a good, a dry deck to start with.
Right.
But then you just need about 24 to 48 hours of dry weather afterwards, and you can do the whole deck in a day.
Right.
That's
as
what
opposed to, cleaning and doing a multiple day process that you've then got to wait for things to dry again.
Right.
And have a dry day in there somewhere.
It's just not going to happen probably. The on-floor machine could make it work, and I would only do that if you don't normally get tons of leaves piling up on your deck, as fall progresses. So bear that in mind. If nothing else, use the information from the last segment to plan
for next year.
For next spring.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's talk about this silly tool. And it's something that I've talked about on the show before. Betsy was here, and we got this it's called a what is it? It's a variable.
Like a universal.
Yeah, a universal socket. It's a
Right.
really ridiculous looking thing. It snaps onto like an impact driver or a drill. And basically it looks like a little socket. But then inside, instead of a little hexagon shape,
right. It's got pins.
All kinds of little pins that you can press in. And basically the idea is that it will form around whatever bolt or nut or whatever you're trying to drive.
It's like that toy, that's like the little
put your
brick.
Face on?
Yeah, you put like your hand through, your face through, and it makes the shape.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about. It's like that for an impact driver.
Right. So the idea is that it's universal. You can use it for anything. And I think there's some value to it. Now, it is silly. This is not a go-to tool. This is not the thing.
Don't let it replace your entire set
No.
of sockets, obviously.
Go get the right socket. If you've got the right sockets, use the right sockets. It's way better. These things do not last. That's not going to be something that's going to give you years and years of service if you use it regularly. You might not even get a week if you're using it regularly.
But in a pinch,
it's really wonderful to have. I bought one for that segment that we talked about, all those years ago. And the other day, I couldn't find the right socket. I'm in the garage, and I remembered I had that thing sitting there with me. Grabbed it. I got the bolt out that I needed to get loose. I did all of that with it. Worked great. It doesn't, you got to center it quite well because it doesn't automatically center itself like a regular socket would. And it's a little wobbly, but it worked. It got it out. The other thing I love it for is driving eye hooks.
Oh.
Because that can be
smart.
a pain. You can hook a screwdriver through it and kind of drive an eye hook in. But especially the bigger ones can,
It takes a while. It's a lot of
You got to beef up in order to do that. And this thing will drive them right in. We'll put a link in the show notes if you want to check it out. It's a I keep wanting to say multi. It's a universal socket tool. Check it out. All right, Haley, that's all the time we've got. We're going to wrap it up. If you want to catch this one again, you can find it online at repcolite.com. Whatever you do today, make sure paint's a part of it. The Repcolite and Port City paint stores are open until 3, waiting to help. I'm Dan Hansen.
And I'm Haley Johnson. Thanks for listening.